Hi everyone, my name is Kristin Juhrs. I'm the Senior Accessibility Instructional Designer at the University of Alabama. Today, I'm going to be demonstrating what it's like to take an online course using a screen reader. Screen readers are computer programs, apps, and web tools that read computer screens out loud to the user. They're often used by people with visual learning, cognitive, and physical disabilities. So chances are you've probably already created an online course that someone accessed using a screen reader. And there are some best practices to make sure that everything that we create is as screen reader friendly as possible. So today I'm going to be demonstrating how this works using a course I built in Blackboard. And while I'm using Blackboard, keep in mind that all the concepts and principles that I cover would work for any LMS. So there are two different types of examples that I'm providing. One is a module that's not accessible, and one is a module that is accessible. So let's start with one that's not accessible. I'm going to first launch NVDA, which is the free screen reader that we're going to be using for this demonstration.
Okay. Module study tips. Build module 1. Not accessible. Build content. Study tips.
So first it read the title, study tips. And then when I hover over the infographic, it got really quiet. And now
Source, https://vengage.com/blog/ what is an infographic/.
So what happened is that, okay, first of all, screen readers can be used in various ways, and there are different types of screen readers. You can have it automatically read everything on the screen, including navigation. You can have use keyboard controls to have it read certain things at certain times, or you can use your mouse to hover over things and have it read out loud. For this demonstration, I'm just doing that third option because the navigation can't be controlled by instructional designers because of our LMS. So I'm really only going to be demonstrating the things that we can control, and the easiest way for me to do that is just to hover over things. So like I said, when I hovered over the title, I read that out loud. When I hovered over the infographic, it read nothing. And when I hovered over the source, it read that out loud. Now let me play for you what it's like when it works well in an accessible module.
Clickable course menu. Build content. Module 1. Accessible. Study tips. Study tips. Source, https://vengage.com/blog/ what is an infographic/. Set study goals. There is lots of set study goals. There is lots of credible research suggesting that goal setting can be used as part of a strategy to help people successfully effect positive changes in their lives. So never underestimate the power of identifying to yourself the things that you want to achieve.
So the reason why all of a sudden it's working here is because of the way that it's built. So the first thing we did is same as before. I built into the Blackboard item the title of the object, which is, I believe, study tips. Then I included the infographic. And the reason why I keep on saying study tips when you roll over is just because I had is the alt text study tips, although you don't have to do that since this is a decorative image in this case, because we're including the text of the infographic in the item itself. And I'll explain that in just a second. And then the reason why source read both here and in the original version is because that was built into the item itself. So when you write something using text in the item itself, that reads out loud. And the only thing that doesn't read out loud is images and words in images. So infographics are actually words that appear in an image. And the problem is that when it's in an image file, the computer just thinks that it's something that it can't read. Generally, unless AI is involved, computers can't read images. And generally speaking, LMSs don't include any type of AI that would be able to read an image. So anytime that you have an infographic, generally those are, like I said, those are image files. So we need to retype all of the words in that image into the object that it appears in. So in this case, I typed it in 1-point font and white font,
Set study
and then
goals.
included it down
There is
here.
lots
Now,
of set
if we had
study
hovered
goals.
over everything,
There
it
is
would have
lots
read
of
the whole
credible
thing,
research
but
suggesting
I
that
don't
goal
feel the
setting
need
can
to
be
do
used
that.
as part of a strategy to help people successfully effect positive changes in their lives. So never underestimate the power of identifying to yourself the things that you want to achieve.
So the reason why I didn't have it read everything is just because it will continue to go on. So anyway, when we include the text in the object itself, it's best because that way they don't have to click out to a separate Word document, which is another option for providing that alt text. Now, the reason why I didn't provide it in the alt text section is because if you see there are too many characters, the wording is too long, it would not all fit in the alt text. Generally speaking, you have about 20 to 40 characters that you can include as alt text, and anything after that will get cut off and not read by screen readers, and often not even saved. So there's really no way of accessing that information unless you provide it in an alternative format. In this case, the alternative format is going to be inside of the object itself, or it'll be like a Word document. So in this case, it's the object itself. So, all right, let's go to the readings now. So in the inaccessible version,
clickable course, Kristin Sandbox, Module 1, Readings. Read the following. Studying PDF,
so now it identified that there's a PDF. We click on it.
90% alert. Zoom, 100% alert. Clickable main landmark list with 3 items. Page 1 landmark unlabeled graphic.
So it's saying that this PDF is an unlabeled graphic. And the reason why it's saying that is that often PDFs are scanned copies of things and they appear as images. And unless you OCR it, which is using a computer program like Adobe Acrobat Pro DC, or using Abby Fine Reader to read that document out loud, or to scan it so it can be read out loud, then often these PDFs are not going to be readable to screen readers. Now, there is a problem with that though. When you use an OCR program, what it's doing is it's scanning for words, it's trying to replicate the document, and often it's not that accurate. It can be, but sometimes it won't be accurate and you won't know where it's not accurate. So a lot of times it's just better to create a new Word document that provides that information so that you can edit that when it's not accurate, because you're still required to provide the same information even if it's in a different format. So it doesn't have to all be a PDF. It can be a Word document with all the same information and it's fine. What's not okay is to have a PDF that's been OCR'd but have it not be accurate. So that's why I recommend creating a separate Word document, which is what we did in our example here.
Course menu, study tips, studying, read the readings, read the following, studying docs, studying PDF, click downloading, studying, opening Word, studying can be hard. Luckily it doesn't have to be. Using these quick and easy steps, you can become a pro at studying in no time.
So I'm not going to hover over the rest of the document because I don't want to have the rest of it read out loud right now, but just know that it will all work. You can make a PDF accessible. The standard for making a PDF accessible is called PDF UA. I know that doesn't refer to University of Alabama, but unfortunately it's very time consuming, it's very difficult, and you often require special software to correct any OCR errors that occur. And so because of all of those reasons, and it's just easier to create a accessible version in a different format like a Word document. So that's just something to consider.
Studying. Minimize moves the studying, module 1, accessible, Kristin Sandbox.
So now let's look at what it's like to take
my grades,
a
clickable,
quiz.
Module 1, not accessible, study habits quiz. Continue.
So we're going
Clickable
to the quiz
main
itself.
Landmark continue button.
And let's have it read question 1.
Question 1 is the first step to studying.
And I could continue to have it read everything out loud. Now, in this quiz, it's a multiple choice quiz. It has questions with blanks in it. Unfortunately, the way that it's written, because it used underscores as blanks, which is typically how this is done in Blackboard, unfortunately, because it uses underscores, screen readers don't always read underscores, especially NVDA doesn't. And so therefore it's unclear where that blank is. And then it's not always clear to the student who uses a screen reader what the question is because they don't know where the blank is. That's especially true in question number 2.
Question 2. It is recommended that you as the second step to studying.
Because that blank was somewhere in the middle of the sentence, it's especially hard to even guess what the question is. So how would this look if it were done in a more accessible way? So I'm going to navigate to that real
preview
quick.
test, study tips, set accessible study tips quiz. Select the link above to take the quiz. If you require accommodations for quizzes, you are required to contact the Office of Disability Services to coordinate them prior to taking the quiz.
I recommend including a type of phrase in there, by the way, in the link before, with any type of quiz, because it's often good to remind students that it's up to them to contact their professor and the Office of Disability Services if they require any accommodations for quizzes. Quizzes, tests, and exams are often the areas where the most amount of people need accommodation. So reminding them that it's their responsibility to reach out to people to get those accommodations is really useful. So let's click on that quiz together.
Continue. Clickable main landmark. Question 1. Blank is the first step to studying.
So now we know where that blank is because it says blank is the first step to studying. And the reason why that works is because we use the word blank in brackets. You can use parentheses, you can just write the word blank and have that underlined. It's really up to you on how you want to present that. But typing out the word blank is essential to making sure that it reads perfectly for all different types of screen readers. So let's see how question 2 reads out loud.
Question 2. It is recommended that you blank as the second step to studying.
So now that we say it is recommended that you blank as the second step to studying, so this is perfect because it then shows you where that blank is supposed to be. Again, it works because we write the word blank in brackets. So these are just some easy tips to make your online courses more accessible. We can't cover everything today. And as you can see, the experience of using a screen reader is different. The voice is somewhat stilted, and yes, with more expensive ones and with different types of ones, there are computer programs out there that allow you to change the voice, but generally speaking, it's not going to sound very human-like. It's generally sometimes a little difficult for people who aren't used to listening to it, but it is the experience that a lot of your students have when they're taking your online course. So keeping that in mind is really key to creating the most accessible courses possible. And you can download NVDA for free anytime you want, and you can try to test out your courses on your own to see how they work for students with disabilities. Anyway, that's all I'm going to cover for today. My name is Kristin Juhrs. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I always am looking to expand my professional network. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave your questions on Facebook, and I will try to answer as many of them as possible. Thanks again for everything, and I will see you next time.